Chapters 1 through 6 of the second book of Samuel, from the Young's Literal Translation of the Bible. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Mark Penfold. Chapter 1. And it cometh to pass after the death of Saul, that David hath returned from smiting the Amalekite, and David dwelleth in Ziklag 2 days. And it cometh to pass on the 3rd day, that, lo, a man hath come in out of the camp from Saul, and his garments are rent, and earth on his head. And it cometh to pass in his coming in unto David, that he falleth to the earth, and doth obeisance. And David saith to him, Whence comest thou? And he saith unto him, Out of the camp of Israel I have escaped. And David saith unto him, What hath been the matter? Declare, I pray thee, to me. And he saith that, The people hath fled from the battle, and also a multitude hath fallen of the people, and they die, and also Saul and Jonathan his son have died. And David saith unto the youth who is declaring it to him, How hast thou known that Saul and Jonathan his son are dead? And the youth who is declaring it to him saith, I happened to meet in Mount Gilboa, and lo, Saul is leaning on his spear, and lo, the chariots and those possessing horses have followed him. And he turneth behind him, and seeth me, and calleth unto me, and I say, Here am I. And he saith unto me, Who art thou? And I say unto him, An Amalekite I am. And he saith unto me, Stand, I pray thee, over me, and put me to death, for seized me hath the arrow, for all my soul is still in me. And I stand over him, and put him to death, for I knew that he doth not live after his falling. And I take the crown which is on his head, and the bracelet which is on his arm, and bring them in unto my lord hither. And David taketh hold on his garments, and rendeth them, and also all the men who are with him, and they mourn, and weep, and fast till the evening, for Saul, and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of Jehovah, and for the house of Israel, because they have fallen by the sword. And David saith unto the youth who is declaring it to him, Whence art thou? And he saith, Son of a sojourner, an Amalekite I am. And David saith unto him, How wast thou not afraid to put forth thy hand to destroy the anointed of Jehovah? And David calleth to one of the youths, and saith, Draw nigh, fall upon him. And he smiteth him, and he dieth. And David saith unto him, Thy blood is on thine own head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I put to death the anointed of Jehovah. And David lamenteth with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son, and he saith to teach the sons of Judah the bow. Lo, it is written on the book of the upright. The roebuck, O Israel, on thy high places is wounded. How have the mighty fallen? Declare it not in Gath. Proclaim not the tidings in the streets of Ashkelon, lest they rejoice, the daughters of the Philistines, lest they exult, the daughters of the uncircumcised. Mountains of Gilboa, no dew nor rain be on you, and fields of heave offerings. For there hath become loathsome the shield of the mighty, the shield of Saul, without the anointed with oil. From the blood of the wounded, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan hath not turned backward, and the sword of Saul doth not return empty. Saul and Jonathan, they are loved and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they have not been parted. Than eagles they have been lighter, than lions they have been mightier. Daughters of Israel, for Saul weep ye, who is clothing you in scarlet with delights, who is lifting up ornaments of gold on your clothing. Ah, how have the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle! Jonathan, on thy high places, wounded. I am in distress for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant wast thou to me. Wonderful was thy love to me, above the love of women. How have the mighty fallen! Yea, the weapons of war perish. Chapter 2. And it cometh to pass afterwards that David asketh at Jehovah, saying, Do I go up into one of the cities of Judah? And Jehovah saith unto him, Go up. And David saith, Whither do I go up? And he saith, To Hebron. And David goeth up thither, and also his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail wife of Nabal the Carmelite. And his men who are with him hath David brought up, a man and his household, and they dwell in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah come, and anoint there David for king over the house of Judah. And they declare to David, saying, The men of Jabesh Gilead are they who buried Saul. And David sendeth messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and saith unto them, Blessed are ye of Jehovah, in that ye have done this kindness with your lord, with Saul, that ye bury him. And now Jehovah doth with you kindness and truth, and also I do with you this good, because ye have done this thing. And now are your hands strong, and be ye for sons of valor, for your lord Saul is dead, and also me have the house of Judah anointed for king over them. And Abner, son of Ner, head of the host which Saul hath taken Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and causeth him to pass over to Mahanaim, and causeth him to reign over Gilead, and over the Ashurite, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over Israel, all of it. A son of 40 years is Ishbosheth, son of Saul, in his reigning over Israel, and 2 years he hath reigned, only the house of Judah have been after David. And the number of the days that David hath been king in Hebron over the house of Judah is 7 years and 6 months. And Abner, son of Ner, goeth out, and servants of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, and servants of David have gone out, and they meet by the pool of Gibeon together, and sit down, these by the pool on this side, and these by the pool on that. And Abner saith unto Joab, Let the youths rise, I pray thee, and they play before us. And Joab saith, Let them rise. And they rise and pass over, in number 12 of Benjamin, even of Ishbosheth son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they lay hold, each on the head of his companion, and his sword is in the side of his companion, and they fall together. And one calleth that place Helkath Hazorim, which is in Gibeon. And the battle is very hard on that day, and Abner is smitten, and the men of Israel, before the servants of David. And there are there 3 sons of Zeruiah, Joab, and Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel is light on his feet, as one of the roes which are in the field. And Asahel pursueth after Abner, and hath not turned aside to go to the right or to the left from after Abner. And Abner looketh behind him, and saith, Art thou he, Asahel? And he saith, I am. And Abner saith to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand, or to thy left, and seize for thee one of the youths, and take to thee his armor. And Asahel hath not been willing to turn aside from after him. And Abner addeth again, saying unto Asahel, Turn thee aside from after me. Why do I smite thee to the earth? And how do I lift up my face unto Joab thy brother? And he refuseth to turn aside. And Abner smiteth him with the hinder part of the spear unto the 5th rib, and the spear cometh out from behind him, and he falleth there, and dieth under it. And it cometh to pass, every one who hath come unto the place where Asahel hath fallen and dieth, they stand still. And Joab and Abishai pursue after Abner, and the sun hath gone in, and they have come in unto the height of Ammah, which is on the front of Giah, the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the sons of Benjamin gather themselves together after Abner, and become one troop, and stand on the top of a certain height. And Abner calleth unto Joab, and saith, Forever doth the sword consume? Hast thou not known that it is bitterness in the latter end? Until when dost thou not say to the people to turn back from after their brethren? And Joab saith, God liveth, for unless thou hadst spoken, surely then from the morning had the people gone up each from after his brother. And Joab bloweth with a trumpet, and all the people stand still, and pursue no more after Israel, nor have they added any more to fight. And Abner and his men have gone through the plain all that night, and pass over the Jordan, and go on through all Bithron, and come in to Mahanaim. And Joab hath turned back from after Abner, and gathereth all the people, and there are lacking of the servants of David 19 men, and Asahel. And the servants of David have smitten of Benjamin, even among the men of Abner, 360 men. They died. And they lift up Asahel, and bury him in the burying place of his father, which is in Bethlehem. And they go all the night, Joab and his men, and it is light to them in Hebron. Chapter 3. And the war is long between the house of Saul and the house of David. And David is going on, and is strong, and the house of Saul are going on, and are weak. And there are born to David sons in Hebron. And his firstborn is Amnon of Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and his second is Chileab of Abigail wife of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third is Absalom son of Maacah daughter of Talmai king of Geshur, and the fourth is Adonijah son of Haggith, and the fifth is Shephatiah son of Abital, and the sixth is Ithream of Eglah wife of David. These have been born to David in Hebron. And it cometh to pass, in the war being between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner hath been strengthening himself in the house of Saul. And Saul hath a concubine, and her name is Rizpah, daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth saith unto Abner, Wherefore hast thou gone in unto the concubine of my father? And it is displeasing to Abner exceedingly because of the words of Ishbosheth. And he saith, The head of a dog am I, that in reference to Judah today I do kindness with the house of Saul thy father unto his brethren and unto his friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David, that thou chargest against me iniquity concerning the woman today? Thus doth God to Abner, and thus he doth add to him, surely as Jehovah hath sworn to David, surely so I do to him, to cause the kingdom to pass over from the house of Saul, and to raise up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even unto Beersheba. And he is not able any more to turn back Abner a word, because of his fearing him. And Abner sendeth messengers unto David for himself, saying, Whose is the land? Saying, Make thy covenant with me, and lo, my hand is with thee, to bring round unto thee all Israel. And he saith, Good, I make with thee a covenant. Only one thing I am asking of thee, that is, thou dost not see my face, except thou dost first bring in Michal, daughter of Saul, in thy coming in to see my face. And David sendeth messengers unto Ishbosheth, son of Saul, saying, Give up my wife Michal, whom I betrothed to myself with 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sendeth, and taketh her from a man, from Phaltiel son of Laish, and her husband goeth with her, going on and weeping behind her, unto Bahurim. And Abner saith unto him, Go, turn back. And he turneth back. And the word of Abner was with the elders of Israel, saying, Heretofore ye have been seeking David for king over you, and now do it. For Jehovah hath spoken of David, saying, By the hand of David my servant, to save my people Israel out of the hand of the Philistines, and out of the hand of all their enemies. And Abner speaketh also in the ears of Benjamin, and Abner goeth also to speak in the ears of David in Hebron all that is good in the eyes of Israel, and in the eyes of all the house of Benjamin. And Abner cometh in unto David to Hebron, and with him 20 men. And David maketh for Abner and for the men who are with him a banquet. And Abner saith unto David, I arise and go, and gather unto my lord the king the whole of Israel, and they make with thee a covenant, and thou hast reigned over all that thy soul desireth. And David sendeth away Abner, and he goeth in peace. And lo, the servants of David and Joab have come from the troop, and much spoil have brought with them. And Abner is not with David in Hebron, for he hath sent him away, and he goeth in peace. And Joab and all the host that is with him have come, and they declare to Joab, saying, Abner son of Ner hath come unto the king, and he sendeth him away, and he goeth in peace. And Joab cometh unto the king, and saith, What hast thou done? Lo, Abner hath come unto thee. Why is this? Thou hast sent him away, and he is really gone. Thou hast known Abner son of Ner, that to deceive thee he came, and to know thy going out and thy coming in, and to know all that thou art doing. And Joab goeth out from David, and sendeth messengers after Abner, and they bring him back from the well of Sirah, and David knew not. And Abner turneth back to Hebron, and Joab turneth him aside unto the midst of the gate to speak with him quietly, and smiteth him there in the 5th rib, and he dieth for the blood of Asahel his brother. And David heareth afterwards, and saith, Acquitted am I, and my kingdom, by Jehovah, unto the age, from the blood of Abner son of Ner. It doth stay on the head of Joab, and on all the house of his father. And there is not cut off from the house of Joab one having an issue, and leprous, and laying hold on a staff, and falling by a sword, and lacking bread. And Joab and Abishai his brother slew Abner, because that he put to death Asahel their brother in Gibeon in battle. And David saith unto Joab, and unto all the people who are with him, Rend your garments, and gird on sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. And King David is going after the bier. And they bury Abner in Hebron. And the king lifteth up his voice, and weepeth at the grave of Abner, and all the people weep. And the king lamenteth for Abner, and saith, As the death of a fool doth Abner die, thy hands not bound, and thy feet to fetters not brought nigh. As one falling before sons of evil, thou hast fallen. And all the people add to weep over him. And all the people come to cause David to eat bread while yet day. And David sweareth, saying, Thus doth God to me, and thus he doth add, for before the going in of the sun, I taste no bread or any other thing. And all the people have discerned it, and it is good in their eyes, as all that the king hath done is good in the eyes of all the people. And all the people know, even all Israel in that day, that it hath not been from the king to put to death Abner son of Ner. And the king saith unto his servants, Do ye not know that a prince and a great one hath fallen this day in Israel? And I today am tender, and an anointed king, and these men, sons of Zeruiah, are too hard for me. Jehovah doth recompense to the doer of the evil according to his evil. Chapter 4. And the son of Saul heareth that Abner is dead in Hebron, and his hands are feeble, and all Israel have been troubled. And 2 men, heads of troops, have been to the son of Saul. The name of the one is Baanah, and the name of the second Rechab, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, of the sons of Benjamin. For also Beeroth is reckoned to Benjamin. And the Beerothites flee to Gittaim, and are there sojourners unto this day. And to Jonathan son of Saul is a son, lame. He was a son of 5 years at the coming in of the rumour of the death of Saul and Jonathan out of Jezreel, and his nurse lifteth him up and fleeth, and it cometh to pass in her hasting to flee, that he falleth and becometh lame, and his name is Mephibosheth. And the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah, go and come in at the heat of the day unto the house of Ishbosheth, and he is lying down, the lying down of noon. And thither they have come unto the midst of the house, taking wheat, and they smite him unto the fifth rib, and Rechab and Baanah his brother have escaped. Yea, they come into the house, and he is lying on his bed in the inner part of his bedchamber, and they smite him, and put him to death, and turn aside his head. And they take his head, and go the way of the plain all the night, and bring in the head of Ishbosheth unto David in Hebron, and say unto the king, Lo, the head of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, thine enemy, who sought thy life. And Jehovah doth give to my lord the king vengeance this day of Saul and of his seed. And David answereth Rechab and Baanah his brother, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, and saith to them, Jehovah liveth, who hath redeemed my soul out of all adversity. When one is declaring to me, saying, Lo, Saul is dead, and he was as a bearer of tidings in his own eyes, then I take hold on him, and slay him in Ziklag, instead of my giving to him for the tidings. Also, when wicked men have slain the righteous man in his own house, on his bed. And now, do not I require his blood of your hand, and have taken you away from the earth? And David commandeth the young men, and they slay them, and cut off their hands and their feet, and hang them over the pool in Hebron. And the head of Ishbosheth they have taken, and bury it in the burying place of Abner in Hebron. Chapter 5. And all the tribes of Israel came unto David to Hebron, and speak, saying, Lo, we are thy bone and thy flesh. Also heretofore, in Saul's being king over us, thou hast been he who is bringing out and bringing in Israel, and Jehovah saith to thee, Thou dost feed my people Israel, and thou art for leader over Israel. And all the elders of Israel came unto the king to Hebron, and King David maketh with them a covenant in Hebron before Jehovah, and they anoint David for king over Israel. A son of 30 years is David in his being king. 40 years he hath reigned. In Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. And the king goeth, and his men, to Jerusalem, unto the Jebusite, the inhabitant of the land, and they speak to David, saying, Thou dost not come in hither, except thou turn aside the blind and the lame, saying, David doth not come in hither. And David captureth the fortress of Zion. It is the city of David. And David saith on that day, Any one smiting the Jebusite, let him go up by the watercourse, and the lame and the blind, the hated of David's soul, because the blind and lame say, He doth not come into the house. And David dwelleth in the fortress, and calleth it City of David. And David buildeth round about, from Millo and inward. And David goeth, going on and becoming great, and Jehovah God of hosts is with him. And Hiram king of Tyre sendeth messengers unto David, and cedar trees, and artificers of wood, and artificers of stone, for walls. And they build a house for David. And David knoweth that Jehovah hath established him for king over Israel, and that he hath lifted up his kingdom because of his people Israel. And David taketh again concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after his coming from Hebron, and there are born again to David sons and daughters. And these are the names of those born to him in Jerusalem: Shammua, and Shobab, and Nathan, and Solomon, and Ibhar, and Elishua, and Nepheg, and Japhia, and Elishama, and Eliada, and Elaphalet. And the Philistines hear that they have anointed David for king over Israel, and all the Philistines come up to seek David, and David heareth, and goeth down unto the fortress. And the Philistines have come, and are spread out in the valley of Rephaim. And David asketh of Jehovah, saying, Do I go up unto the Philistines? Dost thou give them into my hand? And Jehovah saith unto David, Go up, for I certainly give the Philistines into thy hand. And David cometh into Baal Perazim, and David smiteth them there, and saith, Jehovah hath broken forth on mine enemies before me, as the breaking forth of waters. Therefore he hath called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And they forsake there their idols, and David and his men lift them up, and the Philistines add again to come up, and are spread out in the valley of Rephaim. And David asketh of Jehovah, and he saith, Thou dost not go up. Turn round unto their rear, and thou hast come to them over against the mulberries. And it cometh to pass, in thy hearing the sound of a stepping in the tops of the mulberries, then thou dost move sharply, for then hath Jehovah gone out before thee to smite in the camp of the Philistines. And David doth so as Jehovah commanded him, and smiteth the Philistines from Geba unto thy coming to Gazer. Chapter 6. And David gathered again every chosen one in Israel, 30,000. And David riseth and goeth, and all the people who are with him, from Baale Judah, to bring up thence the ark of God, whose name hath been called, the name of Jehovah of hosts, inhabiting the cherubs, upon it. And they caused the ark of God to ride on a new cart, and lift it up from the house of Abinadab, which is in the height. And Uzzah and Ahio, sons of Abinadab, are leading the new cart. And they lift it up from the house of Abinadab, which is in the height, with the ark of God, and Ahio is going before the ark. And David and all the house of Israel are playing before Jehovah, with all kinds of instruments of fir wood, even with harps, and with psalteries, and with timbrels, and with cornets, and with cymbals. And they come unto the threshing floor of Nachon, and Uzzah putteth forth his hand unto the ark of God, and layeth hold on it, for they released the oxen. And the anger of Jehovah burneth against Uzzah, and God smiteth him there for the error, and he dieth there by the ark of God. And it is displeasing to David, because that Jehovah hath broken forth a breach upon Uzzah, and one calleth that place Perez Uzzah unto this day. And David feareth Jehovah on that day, and saith, How doth the ark of Jehovah come in unto me? And David hath not been willing to turn aside unto himself the ark of Jehovah to the city of David. And David turneth it aside to the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. And the ark of Jehovah doth inhabit the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite 3 months, and Jehovah blesseth Obed-Edom and all his house. And it is declared to King David, saying, Jehovah hath blessed the house of Obed-Edom, and all that he hath, because of the ark of God. And David goeth and bringeth up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with joy. And it cometh to pass, when those bearing the ark of Jehovah have stepped 6 steps, that he sacrificeth an ox and a fatling. And David is dancing with all strength before Jehovah, and David is girded with a linen ephod. And David and all the house of Israel are bringing up the ark of Jehovah with shouting and with the voice of a trumpet. And it hath come to pass, the ark of Jehovah hath come in to the city of David. And Michal, daughter of Saul, hath looked through the window, and seeth King David moving and dancing before Jehovah, and despiseth him in her heart. And they bring in the ark of Jehovah, and set it up in its place, in the midst of the tent which David hath spread out for it. And David causeth to ascend burnt offerings before Jehovah, and peace offerings. And David finisheth from causing to ascend the burnt offering and the peace offerings, and blesseth the people in the name of Jehovah of hosts. And he apportioneth to all the people, to all the multitude of Israel, from man even unto woman, to each, 1 cake of bread, and 1 eshpar, and 1 ashisha, and all the people go, each to his house. And David turneth back to bless his house, and Michal daughter of Saul goeth out to meet David, and saith, How honorable today was the king of Israel, who was uncovered today before the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, as one of the vain ones is openly uncovered. And David saith unto Michal, Before Jehovah, who fixed on me above thy father, and above all his house, to appoint me leader over the people of Jehovah, and over Israel, yea, I played before Jehovah, and I have been more vile than this, and have been low in mine eyes, and with the handmaids whom thou hast spoken of, with them I am honored. As to Michal daughter of Saul, she had no child till the day of her death. The end of chapters 1 through 6. Recording by Mark Penfold.